Hi, I'm Tony Weston. This is the VitaPath page, the curriculum of psychological vitality inside PsycheVita. Here's the simple idea that guides everything you're about to see. In the PsycheVita approach, symptoms are signals. They're not proof you're broken. They're messages that the demands you're facing have exceeded your current internal capacities. VitaPath helps you build the skills your signals are asking for in the order humans develop them. That order matters. Much of what shapes us early on is learned procedurally, like muscle memory. You can't start with algebra before you've learned to count. Likewise, if care was unreliable or absent in early years, you might have had to improvise your own operating system. VitaPath is a way of reparenting those missing steps, building the foundation first, then layering on higher skills in a sequence that your nervous system can absorb. Most people try to change from the top down, insight first, willpower second. VitaPath works from the ground up because in real life, the higher skills don't hold unless the foundations are stable. Think of building a house. The taller you want to go, the deeper and stronger the foundation must be. So we organise growth into 6 layers. Layer 1 is regulation for body and emotion stability. These are the skills we begin learning before birth and in the first years of life, settling, soothing, and recovering. Layer 2 is worth and shame resilience, the foundations of agency. When someone can comfort us, even when we're upset, we learn in our bones that our worth doesn't depend on appearance, performance, or approval. Layer 3 is clear thinking and follow through. These capacities begin in preschool and early school years and include impulse control, focus, and flexible thinking. Layer 4 is meaning, motivation, and direction. Through childhood and adolescence, we start discovering what interests us and develop a sense of purpose and self-directed goals. Layer 5 is connection and influence. As friendships and social circles expand, we learn to build healthy relationships, set boundaries, and influence without losing ourselves. Layer 6 is the integration of higher capacities to do with reality, reflection, values, and meaning to life. These summit skills develop over a lifetime, weaving together wisdom, ethical grounding, and existential understanding. Here's a key point. Much of the help out there focuses on layers 3 and above, to do with cognitions, thoughts, behaviours, goals, relationships. But in the PsycheVita model, many persistent difficulties are driven by weaker foundations in layers 1 and 2, and by the protective strategies we built to compensate. You might look like you have a discipline problem or a focus problem when underneath your nervous system is dysregulated, depleted, shut down, or stuck in threat. For example, struggles with impulse control or attentional control can be worsened by poor regulation underneath. A system that can't settle will find it much harder to concentrate or choose well. And some experiences that get labelled treatment resistant can, in this lens, be signals that the foundations still need strengthening, especially regulation, recovery, and shame resilience. So you're not sure where to begin? Start at layer 1. Not because you're behind, but because stronger foundations make every later layer easier, safer, and more effective. Under each layer, you'll see the skills listed in developmental sequence. So you're not trying to choose perfectly, you're looking for the most useful next skill. When to move up. You move up a skill or a layer, not when you can do it perfectly, but when you can access the skill or layer's core skill most days, including on a bad day, and your recovery time after stress is shrinking. A simple test. Can you create even a 5% shift in 2 to 5 minutes when you need to? If not, stay where you are. Foundations first. A building built on sand costs more effort, force, and self criticism to keep upright. A building on solid ground feels like it's working with you. And if later you realise a previous layer needs attention, you can always return to it. This is developmental, not linear perfection. Inside Psyche Vita, you'll see two kinds of content. Signals videos help you understand what's happening and which skill your signal is pointing to next. That alone can reduce shame and bring relief. Grow practices help you build the skill. That's where transformation consolidates. Grow includes short follow-along formats, including Psychescription. And each skill also has written guides, if you like journaling or working with a support partner. Here's the bit that surprises people. Many grow practices are 1 to 5 minutes. If you're used to therapy, coaching, or self-help, you might think, is that it? Yes, and that's by design. When we're stressed, triggered, ashamed, overwhelmed, shut down, or overdriven, our nervous system doesn't need a long lecture. It needs a small, repeatable experience it can actually absorb, ideally without tripping our habitual defences. Think of it as stealth practice for our nervous system. The principle is simple. Insight helps us understand. Practice is what rewires our nervous system, using neuroplasticity, our built-in capacity to adapt and learn. A 1 to 5 minute practice you actually repeat will beat a 30-minute practice you avoid. Some prompts are intentionally tiny. A single breath, a sip of water, stand up and stretch. These tiny cues aren't the change themselves. They're how we begin to teach our nervous system that another response is possible. We start with something small because it is doable, even when we're overwhelmed. By repeating it, we interrupt the old pattern, if this then that, just enough to create space. Over time, those pauses allow us to consciously choose a different behaviour, one that honours our needs and values. That's how small shifts become new defaults and larger capacity. And here's a reassurance if today is a low capacity day. Begin with the smallest version. 1 minute counts. Sometimes I'll say, recover with 60 seconds of stillness, or ask yourself this question and notice what comes. Stop the video and actually do it. These aren't performance videos, they're guided practice. If you're not sure where to begin, here's a simple start. Go to layer 1 and start with 8.4 recovery and decompression practices. Watch the intro, then try the short processes. Even if all you do for the next week is practice 8.4 once a day, you'll be building the downshift lever your whole system relies on. It's shockingly important. Without the ability to regulate through recovery and decompression, our bodies run on threat, and it becomes almost impossible to focus, relate, or feel safe. Use signals to understand. Use grow to train. Start at layer 1, build upward, and move up when the layer holds under pressure. If you want guided practice, Grow requires professional membership, but signals and worksheets are free. And whether you use this alone or alongside therapy, coaching, or a support partner, you're welcome here. You're not broken, you're adapting, and because symptoms are signals, your signals can become a clear roadmap for growth.